Hi friends, welcome to Stay Stitching. My name is Carla and I am so glad you are here. Today I'm going to do a pattern review over my latest make. I finished this maybe on Friday and it is the Cashmerette Tobin. So let me show you the top. Now I cut this out months ago and I forgot that I put these contrast pieces in here. And so that was kind of an interesting thing to discover because I thought that this was going to go with a patterned skirt that I have. And so then when I saw that I had cut out the contrast, I wasn't sure. But here it is. I'll put it on at the end so you can see it. But for now, I just wanted to show you so that you could know what I was talking about when I go through all of the details on the pattern. Like I said, this is the Cashmerette Tobin, and I think this is view C. There's several different views. Here's two of the views right here. Okay, so I cut a straight size 18 EF. EF is the bust size. Now, I'm not an EF. I'm a D or a double D. I don't know why I cut EF. I'm assuming that after going through the numbers, that's what worked best for me. But I cut this out 3 months ago or like 4 months ago, and so I can't remember for certain. For reference, I measured myself today right before I did this video, and my bust is 43, my waist is 41, and my hips are 51. So when you see me in this at the end of the video, you'll be able to compare your measurements to mine and the size that I cut, and that would give you a fairly reasonable idea of what size might work best for you. I made no adjustments to the pattern. A lot of the times I will cut a smaller neck and shoulder and even arm side and then grade out. I didn't do any of that. So you can check out the straight size Cashmerette 18 on me when I show it to you later. The two fabrics that I used, this Ponte was a Fabric Mart fabric bundle fabric. I've bought maybe 4 of those Fabric Mart bundles, and this might be the first time I've ever used a fabric from them. Those of you who watched my craft room cleanup, I have gotten rid of a lot of fabric during that process, and a lot of it, even the silks, came from those Fabric Mart bundles. So while I think they're a ton of fun, I'm not sure that they were the best value for me. But anyway, this Ivory Ponte is very nice quality. I haven't worn it yet, so I don't know if it's super hot. I really like Robert Kaufman's Ponte because of its large rayon content, which I think makes it much more wearable than other Pontes. But I guess I can report back to you after I've worn this for a full day of work. The leopard print is from Hobby Lobby. I made the Do It Better Yourself Club, the Dibby Club May poncho with this fabric, and I had some left over. And so those are the two fabrics that I used. The construction was a complete breeze. You could easily make this as a beginner, I think, if you're good at following instructions. And yeah, it's labeled beginner. And there's a sew along. So you can look at it on your computer, or you can look at the actual instructions that come with the pattern. I printed out the instructions. I don't know why. I don't usually do that. I think it's a waste of paper. I normally just, when I buy a PDF pattern, I usually just have the pattern book open on my computer, but for whatever reason I printed it out. But both the sew along and the instructions were brilliant. I don't remember at any point being confused. And I did sew this up entirely in the last week. There were no, I didn't sew and then let it sit for 4 months and then sew. It was cut it out, let it sit, and then sew. So no problems whatsoever. I think, oh, the construction. There is one thing. You know how the experts are always saying that you should read through the pattern instructions before you make something? Here's a reason why you should do that. One of the many reasons why. I cut my facing out of the Ponte, but it says in the instructions, I don't know if it says it in the written instructions or on the sew along or both, but it reminds you that you might want to cut your facing out of the same fabric that you used for your contrast yoke instead of your main fabric. If I had read that first, I would have done that, because I do think that I did a good job of my facings, but if you were a beginner, your inside facing might show a little. And so definitely, if you're going to do a contrast yoke, cut your facing out in your yoke fabric, not your main fabric. That's the only construction snafu that I ran across, and I think maybe a more experienced seamstress would have caught that. I don't really think through things ahead of time. I'm not thoughtful that way. I'm like, just plow ahead one step at a time. That's how I sew stuff. And so sometimes if I haven't read ahead of time, I can reach a what happened there moment. So I'm going to try to remember that for next time. So lesson learned. And without any, nothing bad happened. So the fit I feel is excellent. I probably would go down one more size, and I'm not sure, I get confused with Cashmerette Patterns. It's a little bit big for me in the shoulders in a size 18. And so I was asking myself if that means I should go down to a 16 EF or leave it at a size 18 and go down to a CD. So that's a question that I am going to have to ponder. I'm going to have to get out the size charts and think that through. And after I've worn it, figure out, you know, if the whole garment can go down one size or just parts. Because my trouble area is my tummy. And so usually I have to grade out at the hips considerably so that it's not tight on my stomach. So that's just something for me to think about to get the shoulders to fit. Oh, and speaking of this, what I'm wearing, this is a Fancy Tiger Crafts. They're a Colorado company based in Boulder. Are they in Denver? I want to say that they're in Boulder, but they might have a shop in Denver too. I don't know. Fancy Tiger Crafts. And they have several really cute, really simple patterns. And this is one of them. It has the same kind of cuff treatment that the Tobin has, which I really love. It's kind of my favorite way to finish off a knit. And it's a very quick and easy shirt. My neckband went in beautifully. This is thrifted fabric. Incidentally, this is one of those kind of awkward fabrics that is too hot to wear in the summer because it's not all natural fibers. And really the color and the sleeve is kind of wrong for the winter. And so it's an awkward garment, and I don't wear it all that often, even though I really like it. So is the design fit for me and my figure? I think so. I think this is a cozy, comfortable garment to wear. It's not supposed to be bodycon. It's not supposed to be sexy, but I do think it is flattering on me. I love the gentle high-low hem. So do I think it is suitable for my figure? Yes. The fit makes it so. It doesn't tint out from my bust because Jenny is an expert at drafting that sort of thing so that it doesn't. And so for this type of garment, do I think it is a design that it works for my figure? Yes, absolutely. Will I make it again? Yes, I kind of want to make both of these views. But before I do that, I want to wear this a couple of times and decide whether I really do love it as much as I think I do, and also decide on my fit. But just without having worn it yet, would I make it again? Yes. It was really a pleasure to sew. I mean, I really enjoyed sewing this up. And I know that is a combination of Cashmerette's overall excellence and the very easy to work with fabrics that I chose. Advice for other sewers: have fun with your elements. This pattern has a lot of different things you could do. You could use 3 different fabrics if you wanted, you know, and there's several different ways this can go together. You could probably make, I don't know how to do that math, but with all the options, there's a ton of different things you can do. And if you like the overall bodice fit, what's to say you can't make it any length you want, or even sleeveless? So yeah, I would just say have fun with your elements and keep your scraps from other knits, and then buy a nice solid or whatever, and then use those scraps on this. I consider this to be kind of a scrap busting pattern, which I really like. So for Cashmerette size range, how do I rate that on a scale of 1 to 5? Meaning, is it inclusive for larger women? Yes, I would give Cashmerette a 5. And if I remember correctly, they have expanded their size range even more. I think they've expanded from 12 to 28 to 12 to 30. And I don't have the measurements of that written down, but you can stop by their website and check that out. So the instructions, I would give a solid 5. I never have trouble with Cashmerette Patterns. The construction, also a solid 5. A lot of the time when I'm sewing along and I get to the hem of a garment, my front and back do not match. I do not know why that is. I am a meticulous cutter-outer. I don't like doing it, but I have a beautiful cutting table and all of the right tools, and I am very careful. I measure my grain line. I do everything. If, you know, some expert was around and they were watching me cut out, I feel confident that I would probably get an A on my cutting out skills. A 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 sometimes. But still, with many patterns, I get to my hems and they don't fit. Why is that? Something went wrong. Either the drafting of the pattern or somewhere in my construction, something went wrong. Okay, so I ran out of room on my phone and quit recording. So where I think I was talking about how frequently with other patterns, when I put my side seam together, the front and the back don't meet. This pattern was not like that. Every single thing met perfectly, and it really makes me smile to myself while I'm sewing along when the drafting is so impeccable that everything works perfectly together. That's something that I get pleasure out of. I don't like having to struggle to force things to go together and weird ease and different. Of course, nobody likes to struggle, but that was a joy. So overall, the pattern rating, I would give this pattern a 5 out of 5. I think it's a great pattern for anyone who is looking for a casual, comfortable kind of garment to wear. And so one thing I want to show you before I'm going to try on some outfits for you with it so you can see me in it. But this was my maiden voyage on my new cover stitch machine. And you guys, I literally put this under the foot with it threaded, you know, from the factory, and sewed this. I mean, if you're still saving for a cover stitch machine, that's great. You know, I did too. They've been out for years. I've just bought one a couple of months ago. I knew I wanted one, and I know that it isn't always going to be that easy, but I'm telling you, if you're not buying one because you're nervous about how it might be complicated, I think that you shouldn't worry too much about that. So that's my one, you know, I hemmed just the hem, because when you have cuffs, there's no hem to show. And so it went really well. Okay, so I'm gonna go put some outfits on with this top so that you can see what it looks like on. I will be right back. Okay, this is probably the most common way that I would wear it. Just around, I have on fried boots and one of my favorite Fossil bags. And so I would just wear it like this to show you the fit. I do think I could go down to a size 16 now that I have it on again, and I'm looking. I think a size 16 would be really good. So this is the most common way that I would wear it. I'll be right back. This is another way that I might wear it. This would be on a feeling very confident day, because I am mixing two different leopard prints. This very subtle one in the Fig and Needle Crestwood skirt, and then this more bold one up here in the Cashmerette Tobin. So with the cardigan on top, you're not seeing too much of this pattern, but the Crestwood skirt is too big, so I've kind of paper bag waisted it here, which I think works. What do you guys think? I haven't tried it untucked. I would hate to cover up these pockets on this skirt. So this would be another possibility if I was feeling really ready to say, oh yes, you can mix leopard prints, to anyone who would ask me about that, which would be no one, because no one cares what I wear. Anyway, outfit number 2.